Here we're working on a standing back tuck, and we want to begin by getting the person to show a nice stretch position here. I'm going to stand behind her and do a beginner spot to try to teach the standing tuck technique correctly. The benefit of this type of spot is to teach the athlete to stretch up and not back. Since they know I'm standing right behind them, it will make it so that they know they can't throw their shoulders back or their head back. But before we do this, we want to get the position right. Notice that we open the shoulder. In this position, notice that the shoulders are open right here, meaning that if closed would be with the arms coming this way, open is back. The hips are tilted under, and of course straight legs, and the weight should be somewhat evenly balanced between the heels and the toes. Now I'm teaching her the first position before the stretch, the shoulder flex wind up position. We're going to focus on the knees being over the ankles. I push her knees back so that they're over the ankles. That's to keep the balance so that when we stretch, they'll jump up instead of off balance. We also want to pull the hips under, keep them tilted under. Also want a big shoulder flex position with the arms. The more the arms are shoulder flexed back, the more momentum they can give you to rise up and get up higher in the air. Now note that to start to get into this position, we didn't simply just bend over at the waist. The knees had to stay in alignment. The seat has to go rearward. That way the upper body isn't just bending over with the weight falling forward. So this way the weight stays balanced. So we get to wind up and bend over without our weight falling forward. From there we're going to swing the arms. Notice that she swung her arms all the way in front of her and she has not begun extending through her legs yet. We do this on purpose so that the arms have a chance to get into place before jumping off the ground. So the arms should go all the way up so that when she jumps through her legs and stretches up, her arms are already up in place. The head should be tilted back a little, the hips under, so that everything's in alignment. She was a little bit leaning forward there. Too much. I want to keep the balance. I was telling her just stay flat-footed for now when you're doing this so that we can keep your balance. Now I'm going back to the original spot position. I'm telling her to do both the shoulder flex, wind up to the stretch, and I just catch her up on my shoulder. I got one hand under her back and one around her waist. It's the first time she ever did this, so she didn't give it a lot of power, but they got to get used to it, and you got to get used to whether or not you can hold them or not, whether you're strong enough to hold them. Now we get a little bigger wind up and right onto the shoulder, in control, and set them right back down. This position again is just to it's really important to get behind them because they can't throw their shoulders back, and everybody wants to just bend over and throw their head back to get around and get over, and it just takes a lot of time to get them to where they'll stand up straight. Now here's another example. Right up to the shoulders and back. I will alternate. This is more of a side spot, and this way the gymnast can go ahead and do the full back tuck. But the reason I stand behind here is because they don't know whether my shoulder is going to stay there and I'm going to roll them up onto my shoulder, or whether I'm going to flip them over. And the benefit of them not knowing is that they know that they have to stand up straight. If I'm standing behind them, they can't throw their head and shoulders back, or they'll slam right into me. They could do it, but they slam into me. And of course, this makes them have to stand up somewhat, and to take off the ground balanced. Shoulder flex position, stretch, and I just roll her right over. And notice I followed her with my hands as she came down, so that I don't just let her flip around and slam to her back. Back and forth, we go from one to the other, depending on which one they need. If they're throwing back, we stand more behind them. If they start to show signs of improvement, we go to the side spot Nice shoulder flex position. Her knees are a little bit forward in front of her ankles. And see, she never really got to the stretch position. She cut it off and went back. Even standing behind them, they're going to do this. And not many gymnasts actually hit the stretch position. I mean, and it's not necessarily to make the tuck around, but depending on how fast and strong the kids are, depends on how well they have to execute the position. So here I am going back and just re-stressing the stretch position. We got to keep working it over and over again until they finally get into it. Now I'm just going to stand beside her and just work on the first two positions. The wind up shoulder flex. Her knees are a little bit forward. She bent over a little too much, but this is still good enough. The arm should begin as the first thing to start. The arm should be the first thing. That was good. She led with the arms, and now she can actually stand up and hit the position right. Just doing this position here will help them immensely. Not doing so many standing tucks after another, but rather just working on the positions. Now, I was just telling her she had her head tucked in. She needed to keep her head up a little straighter. Once again, shoulder flex position. This is a pretty good position. Lead with the arms. Be nice if she had her shoulder flex a little higher. The arms up a little higher. There we go. Arms first. Finish and show. She got her hips under, but she was late. And she needs to open the shoulder angle up more. Her arms should be back here more. And it should be a straight line. And then her head should be neutral to where her arms would be. So she shows that she can do it. So we have to do a lot of stretch positions. Getting behind her. Trying to get her to feel it. Now in this example, we're skipping the progression and to go to the side spot too soon. She needs more time. And because she throws her head back so much, she has to pike her, lift and pike her legs around. If she stood up straighter, she could lift her knees up and tuck better. But because she's got her shoulders so far back, she can't lift her knees up. So she's just got to lift her toes up, and it's a pike. It ends up being a pike around. So I'm just helping her with her balance, teaching her how to keep